we're back. Welcome back to another episode of Ball IQ Podcast. Tolu, Real Madrid fan. Today um, repping with the jersey today. Flying solo today. Nelson's out sick, so holding the fort down for us today. It's going to be a long show. Obviously, this is recording after the transfer deadline finished, so a lot of transfers to talk about and a lot of football to talk about as well. So go through the recap as fast as I possibly could. Go into the not deep dive, the recap, excuse me. Then go to the deep dive of Liverpool Arsenal, which would be our game of the week. Talk about the goal of the week, player of the week, and it's going to see upcoming fixtures, just internationals coming up this coming weekend. So without further ado, let's get into it. We'll start in England. Some obviously the biggest game in Europe was Liverpool Arsenal. Liverpool won 1-0, tight game. Soboslai Golazo. I don't want to talk too much about it now. I'll talk about it later. Uh, a shocking result was, yeah, shocking. Yeah, I think it is shocking. Brighton beating City 2-1, coming from behind. Um, I think the second goal was a decent goal as well. That's two losses out of three for Pep. That's a very, very on Pep-like start of the season. So uh, I know after the first game against Wolves, we thought, oh, maybe City deserve a shout. Maybe nobody's talking about them. Maybe they're back. Glimpse of last season, like I said, Sash airing his ugly head again, but still 3 games in the season. I think it's not. I don't want to be like others who just overreact after 3 games. I mean, signs to see and take heed to, but nothing really concrete is done after 3 games. So, but it's a shocking result nonetheless for City. United won last minute versus Burnley. Um, it took a last minute penalty from Bruno Fernandes to win it. It was a tight game, obviously. It's 3-2. It's a tight game, unexpectedly tight game. Um, Despite United's struggles, I mean, you would think back at Old Trafford against the newly promoted side that they would, use that game as a marker. But again, Amorim still playing the same way. I don't know how long this is going to go on for, but still playing the same way. Interestingly enough, after the Grimsby um, result and after this game, 3 former United managers became available in the market with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Jose Mourinho, and Eric Ten Hag being sacked by their respective clubs. Um, I mean, these rumors in the street saying Jose might be interested in coming back. So at least with Jose and Ole, I think those two should pose a threat um, to Ruben Amorim if he doesn't get the ship right. I personally think also Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace is a very good shout. Seems like a very, very competent coach. And I watched Palace again away at Villa, winning 3-0. They were very, you know, every time I sit down to watch Palace, they're well coached. So it could be a good shout. But United did manage to win the game. Not a convincing performance, but hey, 3 points is 3 points at this point. Fulham. Chelsea beat Fulham 2-0. I know there was some controversy over Josh King, I believe his name is, for Fulham, scoring a goal after. In the build-up, there was somebody did the Zizou turn and stepped on Shalova, and they went back and called a foul for it. It's one of those, a lot of football purists don't like that call. But I wasn't too mad at the call, to be honest. I'll be fine if they had left it, but the fact that they called it back, I wasn't really mad at it. I don't know, but it made for like a talking point. But Chelsea find a way to win that game. The lab got injured in that game, um, so it was Tyreek that started the game with JP. Um, the last injury caused like a very funny domino effect with Chelsea attempting to call Jackson back, and Nicholas Jackson's agent coming out and saying, yeah, this plane doesn't come back, and yada yada yada, and but at the end of the day, they called Magri. I forget how to pronounce his name. They called him back and finalized the deal to send Nicholas Jackson to Bayern. So a lot of stories came out of that game, both on the field and outside the field as well. But Chelsea got the business done. Um, really quick, wanted to give a shout out to Jack Grealish. He shined again for Everton, winning 3-2, I believe, against Wolves away with another two assists. He looks. It's very hard to play to shine in a certain way like Jack Grealish did in his Villa days, then going to a systematic team in City and a coach like Pep. When you lose that, not lose, but when you go away from what you know and do something else, it's very hard to go back to what you know and keep excelling. Again, it's been 2.5, 3 games, whatever it's been for him. But it's good to see him at least like be impactful and be a little free. Now, will he continue? Would see. I hope he does. I hope it does for him, but we'll see. But I do want to give him a shout out because it is very hard to like pick up a style that you left for what 3.5, 3 years, whatever it has been, and come back to that style and still be able to do it at that level. So kudos to him. He's, like Giannis playing with a smile on his face and playing with more freedom. So good for him. And Jusby Hall scored a fantastic goal off one of those assists as well. So shout out to those boys there, showing that the minutes that they're getting in Everton, they're like is well deserved. Um, Quickly go to Spain. Atleti drop points again. Very very shocking start to the season for Atleti. I didn't see this coming. A time, I mean, it was away, but to Alaves, Deportivo Alaves, that should be your classic Simeone 2-0 win. Griezmann and Soloth or Julian Alvarez kind of game. But they started shaky as again. Oh, they continue to their shaky start into the season. Um, Interesting to see what he does different, or maybe the international break is what they need, and when they come back fresh and maybe start the season afresh again for them. But Real Madrid beat Mallorca 2-1. Interesting game. Three disallowed goals. Um, Two of the three were kind of like very, very unfortunate. I think Mbappe was off by his hair or something crazy like that. And for Arda's goal, like his hand was to his chest and the ball hits his arm on the chest, but the rule says if it hits your arm and like causes a goal, it can't stand. So, but again, his hand is literally right here. But the rules are the rules. So, but Vinny scoring and Arda scoring as well. I think the Chouameni continues to excel in that the base of the midfield. Trent played well, had a goal saving tackle. Same with Alvaro Carreras, who started on fire. I mean, Fran Garcia, who had a great Club World Cup. I don't know, I don't know when he'll be able to play, and Mendy is still recovering from his injury as well. So yeah, Alvaro Carreras is locking in that starting left back position. But Mbappe looked sharp. Vinny looked sharp for um, most of his 70 minutes of play, or whatever, however many minutes that he played before being subbed off for Rodrigo. But he scored a not wonderful, but very good solo goal. So if despite his rocky start of the season, he has 2 goals and an assist in 3 games, 2 starts. I say that's not horrible. Um, Athletic beat Betis away. Athletic continued their decent start to the season with a win away to Betis. The shocker in Spain was Real Oviedo beating Real Sociedad 1-0. Real Oviedo, Real Madrid played them last week, winning 3-0. They were a good side, but I didn't see them beating Sociedad personally. So that was a shocker for me. And lastly, Rayo Vallecano versus Barca 1-1. A lot of talk about Vieira not working for that game, which is kind of very very horrible look on La Liga. But talking about the game itself, it was, I mean, Barca are living and dying by that high line of theirs. I thought that the penalty that Barca scored was not a penalty. Personally, the foul on Lamine Yamal was not a penalty. But hey, man, no VAR. And honestly, even with VAR, I don't I don't have faith of them calling it back personally. But Barca didn't really play too well. Um, and again, that high line, Real Vallecano versus Barcelona is always a very good game. I think maybe a couple seasons ago they beat Barca home and away. Then the following season they tied and beat Barca. So in like 4 games, they won 3 out of the 4 and lost and tied one until the season and last 2 seasons when Barca started winning those games again. I remember was it last season that Daniel Olmo came in and scored the winner away. So point is, it's always a good game. So it was something that I was definitely tuned in, and it didn't disappoint. I think Rava kind of deserved the 1-1 result. And again, like Barcelona, like they've played 3 away games. So just pinch of salt there. But they came back against Levante. Was it? I believe it was Levante from 2-0 down to win that game 3-2. They're tying against Vallecano the first game. They beat 9 men, so they really haven't really started as strong. Um, but again, it's just 3 games. So, and one thing Barcelona always do is score. That's something that they will always do. So, having that on their side, I'm sure they'll figure it out and push to defend their title again. In Germany, Bayer Leverkusen tied away to Werder Bremen. I believe they were leading that game by two goals and ended up tying and cost Eric Ten Hag his job. I know last week we were saying that he had no pull, he had lost all his players, and Campy just left to Arsenal. Um, and Victor Boniface also left to Werder Bremen, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he also left Bayer Leverkusen. So they did lose a fair bit of players, but on the board made their decision. ETH is not their guy, so he's been sacked. But it was a fun game. Obviously, any 3-3 game would be a fun game. Bayern beat Augsburg away 3-2. Bayern was leading that game 3-0 and kind of gave away 2 goals towards the end of the game. So, but again, they continued their perfect start, and Dortmund beat Union Berlin 3-0. And in Italy, Napoli needed a last-minute winner from Zambo Anguissa to beat who did they beat? I forget, but they won 1-0. Scenes, and like you can see, you can just imagine the celebration that Conte, if you didn't watch the game, that Conte would have been doing. He was going bananas on the sideline. But again, champions, they continue their winning start to the season, trying to make sure Cagliari is who they beat. Napoli 1-0. And AC Milan won their first game of the season away to Lecce 2-0. Luka Modric got his first assist of the season. So, I always keep tabs on AC Milan because AC Milan. But now, because the Real Madrid legend is there, I'm already, I have vested interest in their success. And shockingly, Inter Milan lost at home to Udinese 2-1. and Juve won 1-0. Italy over the years have been it's been very competitive. So this start of like all these, I mean, Inter has lost a game, AC has lost a game, Napoli hasn't lost, but they could have easily drawn that game or tied that game. Juve have won back to back. Early on is already setting the pace for what I think that the league would be in Italy. So I always say keep an eye on Italy if you want to see like drama or like every game counts. Every game counts everywhere, but like something always happens that shifts the the tide of the season every match day. It feels like for me, but yeah, that's Italy. Really quick, go through the transfers that happened on or before the deadline. Obviously, the biggest one is Newcastle and Liverpool agreeing on Isak. Isak is a Liverpool player now. I think it was about 125 million or in that range. Smashed the record. Liverpool have smashed the record 2 times in one window. If they have to win the league, they have to win the league. I hate saying stuff like this, but I mean, if you come off a season like that and you add Isak, Florian Wirtz, Ekitike, um, and Frimpong and Kirkes, I think that the manager cannot have any excuses. Again, it's football. Like things happen. Too many new additions into the starting lineup could be problematic down the season. But they have to they have to they have to show up this season for sure. And again, they've been scraping their wins using their their champions pedigree, I'll call it, to get past all these dicey first 3 games of the season. But with this Isak sale, I know they missed out on Gehi, but with this Isak sale, no more excuses. They need to wrap this league up by December. I'm just kidding. But they also loaned out Javier earlier to Villa. Um, and staying on Newcastle, they signed the German guy Voltamade. I feel like I said that his name right, Voltamade. Nick from Stuttgart, and they got Visa. So Visa and Isak got their wish after kicking off, maybe showing that sometimes you have to just do that to get your way, which is unfortunate. Because in that same vein, Margehi, who seemed to do everything right, didn't get his move, and it's because Crystal Palace couldn't secure Ego from Brighton. Um, so I read reports that Oliver Glasner said if they leave him without Margehi or a replacement, that he was walking out. That's what I read, and I don't blame him for saying that. But now they have a player who, I mean, that would have been a perfect send off for Margehi, scoring that fantastic goal against Villa. Would have been a perfect send off, but scriptwriters didn't like that ending for him and Austin and Crystal Palace, I should say. So Margehi stays at Crystal Palace again. Just not a good look. I know personally I slammed Rissa, but especially Isak for how they conducted themselves. But they got what they wanted, and he didn't. So this one, like same way I called out Isak and Vissa, calling out Crystal Palace. This was very very poor, and I think uh, we'll see in the future the effects of what this does to players in the future, where they're like, okay, well, to be fair, Eze did the right things as well, and he did get this move. But this Gehi situation will definitely be used as an example for players in the future and agents in the future. Uh, excuse me. Manuel Akanji went to Inter Milan, left City. There's a lot of players that left City. Gundogan left to Galatasaray, and Edison left to Fenerbahce, which created space for Donnarumma to sign for City. Um, that signing is very interesting to me. Donnarumma to City because I mean, like everybody would know, Donnarumma is not the greatest with his feet. So how that work, I don't know. He's a good shot stopper, of course, and he's a big, tall guy. But is Pep trying to change the way he plays? Is it because he's been ahead of you know the curve for the last decade and a half in terms of playing style, and everybody trying to play like how he plays his teams. But um, since Donnarumma is not good with his feet, I'm wondering whether this is a sign that he wants to do something different, and maybe that tiki taka from building from the back we'll see less of. Speaking of, I mean, Trafford, he had a good game against Brighton, even though they lost. He has some great saves, but obviously Donnarumma is just Donnarumma is a bigger name. So my guess would be he would come and be the number one, which is unfortunate for Trafford because he had that one error against Spurs, but I think he's a good goalkeeper. So yeah, but very shocking. We'll see. Donnarumma again, like he's a good shot stopper, but is he really? Is one of those iffy situations? Because early in Champions League, for example, last season, he had a very poor start, and then he picked up as the competition went on. I think in the league as well, he didn't have that many clean sheets. His save percentages were off, were not high. I don't think he wasn't the goalkeeper of the season, um, which is shocking, right? Uh, but again, I'll keep an eye on that. I think you guys should. And by the way, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for your support. I forget to say that all the time. I'm trying to say it as often as I can, but please support the channel any way you can. To be greatly appreciated. Back to these transfers. Garnacho to Chelsea is done. It's that deal has it took forever to finish, but it's finally done. And like I mentioned before, Tyreek George was sold to Fulham, and Mark Gui was recalled because of Liam Delap's injury. Um, that signing and also Facundo Buonanotte has gone to Chelsea on loan. But Chelsea has been doing great business. They brought in about 375 million in player sales, which is a record. Um, that's pretty impressive. So they balanced the books very well with key outgoings, especially the latest of Nkunku going to AC Milan and the like. So I mean, kudos to them. They seem to know what they're doing on the business end. I think the surprising two pieces that I know Nelson wanted me to touch on is Raheem Sterling is still there and Axel Disasi is still there. I think more Sterling is the fact that he's on big wages, um, very big wages, is uh, shocking that he's still there. I don't know if he will play, which is sad. Um, with with Esteval there, Pedro Neto there, Cole Palmer could play on the wings, and the Gittins there as well. Now Garnacho's there. I don't see where he'll get minutes from, but I mean, he's a professional. I'm sure he'll stay ready, and probably January he'll get a move, like on loan or something, or maybe they'll terminate his contract. I don't know. I don't know if they want to do that, but we'll see. Chukwueze as a Nigerian, I was happy to see Samuel Chukwueze loaned to Fulham to join his brothers Calvin Bassi and Alex Iwobi there. Very good player, left winger, um, loaned from AC Milan to Fulham. So Fulham again, they did some good business, and I think this is a very big signing for them. And um, and yeah, congrats to Chukwueze. Another Nigerian, Chrysanthus Uche signed for Crystal Palace. Chrysanthus Uche came from Getafe, our league, La Liga. Very good player. Scored against Madrid once. His rise to the top has been like that in the space of 3 years. He went from playing like fifth division in Spain to now being in the Premier League. So very shout out to him. Very happy for him. And Crystal Palace did do some decent business, I think. Last week I mentioned Jeremy Pino joining, who I mean got the 10 jersey. Very very good player. I mentioned he either would be a success or he'll be an Anthony. But I think he'll do good. I think he'll do good. Um, so Rodrigo stays in Real Madrid. Personally, I'm happy that he's staying. He wants to play on the left. He's only played on the left this season. The two appearances that he made. Um, Maybe that gives Vinicius some competition there. Um, Mastantuono has started pretty much what all last two games on the right. I think he's a little too young. I think like he hasn't really showed um, that much of his quality, and I mean, starting for Real Madrid at 18 is it's no joke. But yeah, so Rodrigo stays. He wants to play on the left, so he'll probably be rotating with him and Vinny. But I'm happy personally that he's staying personally. Javi Simons and Colomwani to Spurs. I mentioned 2 weeks ago, or last week actually, when um, last week or 2 weeks ago when we were discussing Spurs, and I thought that they were lacking like a bagsman, like somebody that would go and get like 20 goals, like 20 league goals or 18 league goals. So I think Kolomwani has the talent to do that. I think they did fantastic business. I mean, getting Javi Simons as well, another creative 10 slash winger. Um, I think, in my opinion, their team is now complete, and they should cause some trouble in the Premier League this season. So, like I mentioned earlier, Nkampe has joined Arsenal. Arsenal love a center back. They love a center back. A very obviously very good, it was very key for Xabi Alonso at Bayer Leverkusen, joining Arsenal deadline day. I don't know how long Saliba is out for, um, but even Musquera when he came, he looked solid against Liverpool. So, but yet, but they felt like they needed to sign one more defender, and they got their man. Hoyland went to Napoli, like I mentioned last week. Lukaku is hurt, so they needed a striker back, so they got Rasmus Hoyland. He knows the league. He didn't score a lot of goals in the league when he was in Atalanta, but he does know Serie A, so I expect his adaptation to the league to be a little faster. And I wish him well personally because when I watch him play, he doesn't look like somebody who doesn't like try. I think it's just, I don't know, it's just sometimes it just doesn't work out. So hopefully he rediscovers his potential in Naples and scores some goals for them. Um, Emi Martinez was supposed to go to United, but it fell through, and they got the young Belgian goalkeeper from Royal Antwerp or somewhere. Um, United have goalkeeping issues with the two goalkeepers they have not being really strong. I don't know if signing a 21, 22 year old is the answer right now. I think they needed that Emi Martinez type of number one where okay, you have nothing to worry about. So unfortunately for them, that deal fell through. Um, Rabiot, after his fallout with Marseille and his teammates and Deserbi, got a deal to go to AC Milan. So AC Milan is building a nice team to try and get back to Europe or get back to Champions League. And I mean, I think they will do it with Allegri and the players that they have. I think they will do it. Anthony joined Betis permanently. I'm happy for him because, I mean, how many times have we seen loans that were successful and then the player is linked back to that team on a permanent and it doesn't happen? The one that jumps right into mind is Jesse Lingard when he went on loan to West Ham and did amazing, and they tried to sign him but uh, couldn't sign him. So I'm happy that he's going back to where he had some success. So again, adaptation should be fast, and maybe we'll get to see some high level football from like we saw half of last season from him. But I'm happy for him. Go to where you are loved. Jadon Sancho has gone to Villa on loan. I know he rejected a couple proposals, most notably from Roma. So good to see that he got a Premier League team. Villa, they're in Europe as well. So um, and with the system that they play, sometimes they play two tens, sometimes they play one. So I think he would get some good game time. I think he would do well in Villa. I think he'll do well in Villa. Um, and finally, just this one was surprising because it came out of nowhere for me. Was um, Jamie Vardy going to Cremonese? Cremonese beat uh, AC Milan away in the first game of the season. Bonazzoli scored the wonderful bicycle kick game to win. Now they added Jamie Vardy, so he will have a party there for sure. Um, but yeah, it was a very very busy last couple of days of the transfer market. Um, Liverpool biggest spenders, they broke the record twice, um, and they did, to be fair to them, they did bring in some money with sales of, like, notably Darwin Nunes and likes. I think they brought in over 250 million or thereabout, but they spent over 500 million. So the net is still pretty decent. But I think it's fair. I don't think that over the years Liverpool have been big spenders. So this is the first time in Lord knows how long that they've spent like this aggressive. Um, so again, I mean, I don't really, maybe I'm not, it's not my league, but I don't really like see it as negatively because again, like I said, they won the league with pretty much no new signing. I think it was just Chiesa. So again, hey man, they had money to spend that they spent it. You can't be mad at that. But congrats to them. The Champions League draw also happened last week. Some very, very juicy fixtures are coming. Uh, Chelsea, Barca, that one made me laugh because after Chelsea won the Club World Cup, online I was seeing a lot of people calling for, Barcelona, give me Barcelona. Well, you got it now. So I think that that game will be fun for sure. I think that game will be fun for sure. Um, but this Barcelona highline, I don't know. I don't know. But it'll be a fun game. But Chelsea, they're playing Barcelona. They'll play Bayern. They'll play Benfica. They'll play Napoli. Um, those are some of their key or big games. Madrid, we're playing Man City, which has become a season regular now in the Champions League. We have to always play Man City for sure. We're playing Liverpool as well. Playing Juve. Um, so those are the three big names that would be playing. Um, Last time we played Liverpool. I believe we're playing Liverpool and at Anfield, if I'm not mistaken. Last year we played them at Anfield as well. With like weren't at our best, and we had some injuries. Mbappe missed the PKs. No Vinny that game. Vinny loves Liverpool fixture. So hopefully with this new Xavi ball and knock on wood, everybody being fit, um, I think it'll be a different game. Um, and obviously, I'm looking forward to both those games, but particularly Liverpool away. Uh, Liverpool are also playing Atleti at home as well at Inter away. Arsenal are playing Bayern again. Again, that was, I would say, like in the 2010s, Arsenal Bayern was always a thing, and Bayern always used to wipe the floor clean with Arsenal. But this is a different Arsenal team. Um, Arsenal will be playing Inter as well, and Atletico Madrid and Athletic Bilbao, who I believe did they play them preseason? I'm not sure if they did or not. Maybe it was Villarreal. I'm thinking. Sorry. PSG are playing Bayern, Barca, Spurs, Newcastle, Athletic. I think they have more of the difficult couple of group stage games, or league games, whatever you want to call them. So they rewarded them for winning the Champions League by giving them those heavy hitters, which will make the league phase interesting. Inter play, in addition to Liverpool and Arsenal, play Dortmund and Atleti. Bayern, like I said, will play Chelsea. They'll play PSG. They'll play Arsenal. Dortmund will play Inter, City, Villarreal. Dortmund, Villarreal, Battle of the Yellows. Not too many teams wear yellow, so that would be fun to see. Dortmund also playing Juve, Spurs, and Athletic Bilbao. So Champions League will be fun per usual. But there are some very very mouth-watering games in the league phase. And yeah, that's the recap. Next, I'm going into the IQ deep dive to discuss the Liverpool and Arsenal game. So I'll take a quick break and I'll see you guys shortly. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in a minute. And I'm back. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Please, again, like, comment, and subscribe. And please show some support any way you can. It would be deeply appreciated. I'll be taking you through what I saw in the Liverpool versus Arsenal game in this IQ deep dive. It was a tight game. I think if you play that game again, it's probably going to be a draw. I mean, it was looking like a draw, but for a wonderful moment of brilliance from Dominic Soboslai from the free kick spot and scoring probably one of the goals of the week. But taking you through what each team was doing, Arsenal, just like how they started the season, played Saliba got hurt, playing the right center back, so Mosquera came in for him, but Gabriel was the partner there. Calafiori continues to start on the left, and Juran Timber, a very good player on the right. Um, Zubimendi and Rice at the 6 and 8, and then they played Moreno on the as the right 8, and Noni started as the uh, right winger in place of Saka. Martinelli started on the left, which was surprising for me, a little surprising for me. And Gyökeres played up top. And again, Arsenal, how they build up in this box of the two center backs, Zubimendi and Rice. Zubimendi being the one who receives the ball from them more, and they invert the two fullbacks. So they build up in a formation like this. So from Raya to one of the center backs, usually to Zubimendi, and he dictates where they go, either to Rice or to Timba or Moreno, or he can find a couple times he sent Noni running to chase Kirkesh on Arsenal's right. Um, but again, this is the base. So this is how we've been seeing Arsenal play this season. Gyökeres was, trying to run into the channels. Personally, I think that he didn't get a lot of service. I still think that they're not used to like playing into him. I think I remember only maybe a few times. One where I think he ran through the channel and Konate followed him and he laid it off down for Timbers or whoever. But um, Martinelli played on the left. Like I said, shocking. He didn't really pretty do much really. Rice was decent. Zubimendi was again, I thought very good. But for Liverpool, again, they played just like how they played against Newcastle with Salah on the, his usual right wing, Gakpo on the left. Ekitike started up top with Verts being the 10 and not Dominic Soboslai, excuse me. McAllister playing as the 8 and Gravenberch back in the 6. Dominic Soboslai played at the right back position again, and obviously with VVD and Konate playing as their centre back pairing and Kerkesh playing on the left. And for Liverpool, they kind of played the same, actually not the same way, but same way like PSG plays or Chelsea played last season, where their right back joins into the midfield. So Dominic Soboslai was pretty much on the ball playing in this pocket, particularly in the second half, to receive the ball and join in the midfield and come back as in his right back position to deal with any threat from Martinelli or Eze when he came in. But he covered a lot of ground and he did pretty well. Won fair share of duels and obviously, like I said, scored the golazo. Um, I think that in the first half, Arsenal played very well. They won the ball back high up the field so they can, go again into Liverpool's final third shortly after they won the ball back. But I think the thing that stood out was Van Dijk really. Van Dijk really stood out for them, and also Kirkesh. Um, he had a difficult game against Newcastle, but Noni was Noni Madueke was going at him like he was constantly going at him, and he won the most duels out of the back four of Liverpool's back four against him. Noni beat him for speed a couple of times, and he recovered fine and tackled for a corner. But the first half was really really um, tough for Liverpool, but again, I think that Arsenal entering the final third, they didn't really get they they didn't really had the quality to take advantage of anything that they were trying to create. I think they had only one shot on target throughout the whole game, which was a Noni Madueke shot from a clearance from the corner, and it came in to him in the top of the box. But speaking of corners, I thought Liverpool defended corners brilliantly. They defended with all 11 men against Arsenal because everybody knows how dangerous Arsenal are on corners. So they they developed they defended, I should say, very very well to Arsenal's aerial threat. But again, Arsenal, with all the final third entries they had, they didn't really create much. To be fair, Liverpool didn't either, but Arsenal really struggled to create more chances. And again, I feel like they are not playing a striker like um a striker like Gyökeres really really relies on his midfield and his wingers to excel. Like if they don't like find him more often, he's just going to be non-existent. And to be fair, it's not his fault. I think that he's he's suffering from Arsenal's lack of creativity and lack of creativity and not being familiar playing with an actual target man. Because I can't remember when last Arsenal played with their nine. It's been a couple seasons now, so I felt bad for him. He was trying to make runs just like he did against United, just like he did against Leeds. That they finally found him, but I thought that yeah, I just felt bad for him. I just felt bad for him. But like again, like I was saying, the first half, Liverpool I think only had like two touches in the Arsenal box, and that was when Raya tried to find Gyökeres and Van Dijk stepped in and won the ball. He got the first touch in the box, and McAllister also tried to shoot off that same action. And those are the only two touches that Liverpool had in the whole first half. And I believe they didn't even have a corner in the first half. So Arsenal was on top, I'd say, like just had the edge a little bit in the first half, especially against Liverpool away. I was impressed to see them play like that. Then second half changed, in my opinion, when Liverpool brought in Curtis Jones for McAllister around the 60th minute. That's when everything changes because again, Liverpool are building up, with they keep this back three for transitions, and Konate's pace can cover for Zoboslai when he's out of position. But having Curtis Jones in this channel here, McAllister tries to stay deep and receive in the pockets, but off the ball, Curtis Jones can roam into these areas and cause trouble, and that stretched Arsenal's midfield a bit because obviously as a midfielder, like you're very the last thing you want to play against is somebody mobile, like somebody that runs. You want somebody like you want your opponent to have the ball in front of you, but somebody that is moving off the ball and not necessarily going to the defender, but just staying behind you and receiving the ball in spaces behind you caused a lot of trouble. I think that created that ripple effect where Liverpool now grew into the game and started having like half chances and ultimately like took control of the game to in the second part of the second half, and they were rewarded with a wonderful goal. So again, like I said, if you play that game again, it's probably going to be a draw. But Dominic Sloboslai, I think, I mean, he's a midfielder, but he's been putting a shift in for Liverpool last couple of games with Frimpong being injured, and it's great to see that he was rewarded with that special moment at Anfield against Arsenal. Salah had another quiet game. He hasn't been great to start the season. He scored in the first game. He had a game-winning assist against Newcastle, but I kept calling it like he's not playing well. Um, I mean, a player of Salah's quality, I expect him to figure it out and turn it around. But it's to me quite notably not playing well, quite notably not playing well at all. So I wonder what tweak that they would do to get the best out of him because obviously, I mean, Salah is the Don Tata of the league now. But again, they got Isak now. Ekitike has been very very good. It would be interesting to see how they do. I imagine Isak goes straight into the number 9 position, and Ekitike either battles it out with Gakpo on the left, or he just comes in and fill in wherever it's needed because Salah is probably going to start every time. Same with Isak, to be honest. So it'll probably be Ekitike or Gakpo. But again, if Ekitike plays on the left, Salah already playing high and not necessarily doing that much defensively. I don't know if they can afford another player to do that there as well. So um, curious to see what happens there. But obviously, big signing for Newcastle to get in Isak, and um, Ekitike has done nothing wrong, but a better, higher profile striker has come, and he's probably going to have to sit down for sure. Um, but yeah, like it was a well balanced game in my opinion. Arsenal, I thought, were unlucky to not come out of that game with something, and I know like what's his name, Peter Schmeichel was had some harsh comments for Arsenal, but I think that they did with what they had with no Saka, especially with what they had. I think they tried to go for the win. I don't know why he was so mad at how they played. Again, like I said, I was surprised Martinelli started without and not Eze. I mean, Eze had a full preseason and has played 3 games this season before that game. Has won a trophy before joining Arsenal as well in the Community Shield. So it can be lack of fitness or sharpness, but I know Mikel Arteta came out and said, he's only trained 3-4 times with the team, and we have to give him time. I no, I am not too mad at that, response, but it should have started, in my opinion. So again, it's just one of those things. I think again, it's not a make or break um, result for Arsenal, but I think it could have been different if Eze started, in my opinion. I know, I mean, hindsight is 2020, but I think if Eze started, I think it could have been different. But yeah, it was IQ deep dive. Was a tactical game. Um, it was a balanced game. Um, what's his name? Arne Slot again has changed the game with substitutions. He's been very very strong with his substitutes since last season actually. So he did it again with Curtis Jones coming in and changing the game for them and having them regain. control or gain control of the game, I should say, and they ended up winning. So shout out to Honest Lot for that little detail switch that changed everything. All right, moving on to the IQ Player of the Week. I had two players in mind. Um, Jao Men scored a hat trick, a fantastic hat trick for PSG away. Two of the three goals were bicycle kicks. Kicks. The second bicycle kick, I believe, was a wonder goal. Setting himself up and biking it was fantastic. So he had a fantastic match day. Juan Garcia for Barcelona against Vallecano was, you could see exactly why he was signed during just that game. Just go watch the clips of that game. He made some very 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 impressive saves, but he has to go to John Mensch. Just scoring a hat trick as a deep as a eight, and the caliber of goals as well. He has to be the IQ Player of the Week. So congrats to Jao Mensch. And for finish of the week, like I said, Jao Mensch's second bicycle kick was fantastic. Mark Gay, scored a fantastic goal as well. Um, but because of I guess the biggest game of the week, also had a golazo, which is Liverpool Arsenal. I have to give it to Dominic Sloboslai because the technique on the free kick, he didn't follow through. It just added a little pizzazz to it, and Area had no chance. So Dominic Sloboslai, congratulations on winning the IQ Finish of the Week. And yeah, off to international breaks. I mean, personally, I don't like when the season starts and all of us like shortly after we have to like go on to international breaks. It's just not fun. But again, I don't know if there are any big games coming that would be uh, like noteworthy. But I'll be watching most of the games. Obviously, Nigeria as well because obviously, the homeland. We have to make sure that first of all we get to the World Cup, which is looking kind of shaky for us. But I believe that we play on is this Saturday or Friday, one of the two. Um, one of the two. But yeah, I'll be watching all the games and seeing anything that's noteworthy, and we'll discuss it next week. But that's been the episode. Thank you guys for support thus far. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with your peoples, and let me know in your comments anything that you have any opinions on what I said in terms of from transfers to the IQ deep dive to the results. And to the player of the week and goal of the week. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But again, I'm Tolu, Real Madrid fan. Ball IQ signing out. Peace.